it's Lo from Custom Creations by Lo. I hope everybody is doing wonderful today and that you have had a successful, happy day. So I changed my mind several times today about what I was going to work on. Now, in the background here, I do have some stuff that I poured off camera. One of them is that starfish trinket tray that I had told you about in the last video, that I owed the client one more of those. And I had some extras, so I poured those. So they're all sitting here. I'm not sure if you can see them or not, but anyway. So today, I'm going to do a new jar mold. I have not poured this mold. I've had it a while, which seems to be my thing. And it is, I bought it off Temu. And it is a butterfly jar mold. This is the lid, and then this is the bottom part of it. And since the butterflies are this way, I assume it's going to set that way. We'll see. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm setting this over here off to the side, upside down, so nothing gets in it. And I'm going to be using this Jacquard Pearl-X Misty Lavender mica powder. And then I'm going to use this kind of glitter color in the same. I think this may have came off Temu. It was given to me, so I'm not really sure, but it looks like their kind of bottles, has no name or anything on it. But I think that they'll go well together. So, first thing I'm going to try to do is paint the interior of this butterfly. I may try to do it with my finger first because hopefully that'll make less of a mess for me to clean up, but I think that'd be really pretty. So let me see. I think I'll find a darker purple for right here of its body. Give me just a second. Let me see if we can find it. Let's see what this looks like. That'd be pretty. And it's pretty close to the same. This is Diankapours Aquarius, but it has a little more blue tint to it, so I think it'll be perfect. So we'll use that. So since I store all my powders upside down, let me tap them out so we don't have overflows. So sorry. And I'm sorry, my nose is trying to run away again today. And I'm opening this over my trash can because sometimes it has powder on the side. And I don't want it to get everywhere, because that's what happens with me. Oh yeah, I think this color, this Aquarius, will be the perfect offset to this Pearl-X. And now, of course, I have it all over myself. Let me just clean my hands off so I'm not transferring that to the mold. There we go. And let me get a brush. Should have had this out, but you know how we are. So I'm going to try to use this little brush here. It's pretty soft. It's one of the sets that I bought at Pop Shelf, one of the makeup brushes. So I'm going to try using it to get at least the center of the body. Now I probably should be able to get enough off these sides here. Maybe. I did try to wipe it off. See how that's coming off? Just on the jar. Off the jar, rather. Could probably just do that over the lid. Save myself some cleanup off my paper. And yes, I went back to my parchment paper just because I find that I like that better, because I can clean it up easier than a napkin on this leveling table. And with my area being limited, until I eventually get out into my she shed area. Alright, so we're just going to try to color or paint this in right here in the center with this particular color. Trying to get in this little circular part here. I guess it's head, which maybe shouldn't be purple, but you know what? I can always paint it after the fact. Correct? Correct. So, before I forget, I have some very exciting news. I actually have two very exciting news. Next Tuesday, Tuesday of next week, I am going to be on CC UK Live question and answer. So come support me, come support him, support all of those folks that attend, because it's a great way for all of us to get to know each other and, learn more about our channels and, that kind of thing. So, yeah, so that's exciting. I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. You know how that goes, right? And then the next, and that will be 8 p.m. UK time and 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for us here in the United States. I don't know about other parts of the states rather, what your time frame is, but that's what I know as far as my time frame. So check it out. Sign up. You'll get, Andy sends out a notice on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to him, it's CCUK. And it's always a great time. I've been there watching other artists for, many times. And you get to ask questions. He asks questions. I hopefully won't flubber it up. So if you want to know more about me and my channel and that kind of thing, come check us out. Now, the other exciting news is I'm trying to plan a giveaway for my 100 milestone, reaching 100 subscribers, which is awesome. I mean, it's unbelievable. It excites me so much to know that I have people that want to see my channel and what I do. So keep up with that. The announcement of exactly what I will be doing to celebrate will be upcoming, and hopefully you don't want to miss that. So, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends, because, they all help. So right now what I'm doing is trying to clean up this little area of the body that I did without making too much of a disaster. Let me get a little foam brush. so I can get that area. Actually, yeah, I'll get one of these little makeup swatches here, so I can try to clean up that powder there. Put a little alcohol on it, 91%. You don't want to waste your 99% on cleanup, because that stuff is not cheap. Not cheap. It's definitely more expensive than, say, your 91%, which is what I use for my cleanup, and save the 99% for, you know, spritzing or that kind of thing, the resin that I poured. Now, I know I'm using a very similar color to do the butterfly wings and things, but just remember, whatever your first color is that touches the silicone is going to be what you see. And I want this color to be first in the body. And the wings, I want a little bit more of a different color. So that's why I'm trying to make sure I get this really well. So in preparation for Tuesday's event, go ahead and think to yourself what it is you might want to know about my channel, about me, anything like that. I know he always puts in there, you know, the procedures to do, which is usually if you do have a question you want answered, to put it all in caps, but you'll just need to read all the guidelines that Andy puts into his information or description box. And I am so appreciative of the fact that he does this. I had originally reached out to him and was asking him about it, thinking, oh, he's probably got so many lined up, because I know that people do. I was thinking, you know, well, if he likes what I do and wants me to do it, it's probably going to be after the new year. So when I got that email today saying he had a cancellation or something, would I want to do it? And I'm like, initially my thought was, I don't know if I'm ready. Let me watch, you know, the other videos. And I was like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? So I said yes. All right, I think we got that pretty good. Let's go ahead and get the rest of our butterfly innards painted. Why is there hair in there? It looks like an eyelash. It is an eyelash. Now eyelashes are shedding. Oh my goodness. First my head, then my eyelashes. See what happens when you get young? Okay. Let's get our next powder ready. Sorry for the noise there, my friends. And that is the Jacquard Pearl X Misty Lavender. So pretty. And let me get another one of those little brushes, because that works really well. This way we can paint with it. I think it should be okay. Now what I like about these is you don't see it going in the top of the jar, which is awesome because when they do, it just makes such a mess. And these powders are from my fluid art pouring days, which I would like to get back to, but I promised my hubby that until I'm out of this room, which is one of the spare bedrooms, and I've been making a lot of messes when I did acrylic pours. So I told him I wouldn't do no more. And this brush may be too stiff. Let's go back to our other one here. It doesn't matter if we go over the body now because, like I said, the first color that's on there is what you're going to see. I wonder if I should use my finger. These two colors are so close. I hope there's a difference though once it's poured. Because right now it's not really looking like it. It's pretty. I'm going to try this brush. The bristles are a little softer, so it might have better success with that. That one's kind of stiff for this. Worst case scenario is that if I miss something, then once it's demolded, a little loose bristle right there. Don't want that in my stuff. There we go. We have to paint it, you know, with markers. Alright. Make sure I get that burnished in there really good. And I'll tap out any extra that I can see. Alright. our switching sponge so I can clean this up. You can buy these off Amazon, and sometimes you can find them in your Dollar Tree, which is where I got mine, but I also have a link where you can buy a package of 2 off Amazon, and they're cheap, but they work so well. Okay. Oopsie daisy, about knocked that over. Get this closed up. And then I want to be careful with my stuff up here because they are curing and I don't want, you know, stuff over them. So I'm just going to kind of do this here. Knock everything else over, see how that's coming out. And then we'll just clean up around this. Knocked it out pretty good. And I'm just using a baby wipe, so I'm just going on the outer edge of the butterfly for the lid, trying to get all that off as much as possible. Up. That's why I like my parchment paper, because I can pretty much just wipe it off. Alright, let's see if we can get this a little cleaner. The residue. Alright. So that's what we're, that's what we're looking at right now. Butterflies in there. Looks pretty good. Okay, now let's look at our jar part. I had thought about trying to paint this, but I think I'm going to do it in a translucent alcohol ink. And then we can paint it if I decide to after it's cured, because I can paint it, but I'm afraid that if I, you know, when I go to turn it back inside out, I'm just going to mess it up. So we'll just do a translucent in there of a similar color. This glitter. And go from there. So give me just a second. I'm going to grab my resin. I need to get it open because I used all my Bond Crafter resin, which I'm sad about, but I got a really good buy on Amazon for Tea Expert resin. I've not used this before. I've used their UV resin, but I've not used their epoxy resin. So we will see how that goes. Let's set I'm thinking that, let's get rid of these things here. I'm thinking this is going to be at least 7 ounces of resin. This may be, and yeah, the lid looks a little lopsided. I'm thinking it might be about 3 ounces. And since I don't want this to fast cure on me, which is always, so let me see, this is about, where's my measuring stick? 3 inches maybe. Hang on a second, let me grab my ruler. Okay, friends, so I have 5 ounces of part B in here, 5 ounces of A in here of the T Expert epoxy resin 1:1. In case you're wondering, this is the bottle. This is A and B, and this is 128 ounces per bottle, which is 1 gallon. So I have basically 2 gallons worth epoxy resin. And again, I have not used T Expert's epoxy resin. I've used their UV resin, which is very good. So I'm hopeful. So I'm going to go ahead and before I add the A to the B, I'm going to go ahead and mix in this purple glitter. It's extra fine. I used it in starfish mold that I did earlier, so I don't think it's going to sink. Like I said, it's just kind of like a powder blend. I don't know what you would call it, but again, the set was given to me, and this is my first time using it. And I'm going to sparkle all over. Before I do that, though, it looks like I could do it a little bit of a shake. So we're going to do that. Just kind of dumped about maybe a teaspoon or so in there. So let's go ahead and mix that in here. Like I said, this is just part A. Isn't that pretty? Has just enough of the purple color that I wanted. A lot of sparkle. Sparkle, sparkle. Alright, so we've got that in there. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the part B that is in this paper cup. Once I've gotten it all mixed up, then I will split the 2 cups again. I suppose it's in there. I'm not going to put it through the debubbler. I'm going to let it degas on its own. Just because this is a relatively deep mold. I've not poured it before. And if I put this in the debubbler, it's going to heat up, which would increase my chances of a flash cure, which I've had one scare with that. I am not looking for another scare. That happened to me when I first started doing my resin. And yeah, so I prefer not to have it happen a second time. Let's see, let's go ahead and put this in here. My jacket sleeves are getting on my nerves. Once we get this done, we'll mix up the resin for the lid, just because I didn't want to mix any more up than I had to at any one time. And this may give us a little bit of extra. Again, I've not poured this mold before, and I don't know how much it actually takes. I'll set that there. I'll take my hands off and get my stirring stick, and we'll get this stirred. Now, I do notice in this a little different of a smell. It is supposed to be low odor. It does smell just a little bit different from the Bond Crafter's resin. Alexa, set timer for 3.5 minutes.
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
But it's not too bad, so this is so pretty. This glitter powder or whatever it is. And like I said, I think it may have come from Temu. I don't know, because it was gifted to me. And it came with, like, I want to say 10 or 11 other colors, and they're all gorgeous. So this violet color is, you know, it's beautiful. Now, I do stir my resin one way. I know some people will mix one way and then reverse and mix it the other way. I do not. I mix mine all the same way. I do scrape my sides and my bottom. And when I first start mixing, and I noticed the instructions on TX where it says, first mix, you know, in your center and work your way, you know, out to the edges, which is what I normally do. But I thought it was interesting that they put that specific stirring instructions, which is a great idea, because, you know, some people, like I said, they will stir, you know, and then they reverse, and then they go back to the other way, and, you know, it's like, this is just the way that I mix mine. If you've seen my previous videos, I do not go multiple ways. And of course, with anything, if you're using mica powders or anything, colors like that, paste, alcohol inks, whatever, make sure you scrape your sides down, because stuff does like to stick to those sides. But this is really pretty. Can y'all see that? Look at that. It's like purple diamonds. With just a hint of like little flips of gold and green and blue, pink, just a bit, you know, the way the light hits it. It's so pretty. Kind of worried about the lid though, because it's not looking 100%, you know, level. Maybe, you know, I don't know. It just, once I'm done stirring this, I'll show it to you. But this side here looks like it's flipped up. This side here looks like it's squished out. I would definitely be using these glitter powders more, because they are gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I mean, and it didn't take much. You know, if you want a translucent kind of color with some sparkle. Can you see that on my stick? Look at that. It's like, oh, it's just gorgeous. Alexa, stop. Alright, so our timer just went off. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm not putting this in the debubbler because I do not want it heating up any on me to increase the chances of a flash cure. So when it's time to pour, I'll bring you back. I'm just going to let it wait off camera, and when we're ready, like I said, I'll bring you back. So hold tight. All right, friends, sorry. So I was in the process of pouring this bottom jar lid. I had let my resin degas 5 minutes on its own. Did not put it through the debubbler because I did not want to take a chance on it heating up too fast and then doing a fast cure. So I was working, doing this, and all of a sudden my camera went flying and I decided to start it again. So what I'm doing is I'd sprayed some 99% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol in here, moved it around, and now I'm just pouring this slow and was squeezing the sides, just trying to make sure we have no bubbles. The good thing about this kind of mold is you can see through it pretty easily, so you know, if you see bubbles, you can kind of get rid of them. And that was about when my camera went flying. I'm glad it did not hit my other molds that are curing here. That would have been a disaster. Also would have been a disaster had the resin got knocked over. Alright, so we're going to continue pouring this really slow. I think I see a bubble. Okay, yeah, it's coming up. I may not have to mix up any more resin. This is not holding nearly as much as I thought it would. Stop there. Kind of squish it again. Which, since it doesn't hold that much resin, as much as I thought, hopefully we will not have a flash cure. Let me go ahead and put a stick underneath that so it's setting level. And if I don't have to mix up any more resin, that'll be awesome. Because this only took like, right now it's looking like 4 ounces, and I've made up 10. And I know the lid's not going to, you know, top, it's not going to take that much. Let's give that just a second to kind of situate. Still can't believe that camera went onto the floor. You're looking at me, or seeing me looking over at it like upside down, and I'm like, yep, you just restart that mess. I was trying to get bubbles out that I thought I saw. Now we'll have to say this is thickening up pretty quick. See that? And like I said, it didn't even go through the debubbler, so I'm wondering. Thankfully, that I didn't put it through the debubbler, because if it's thickening up this fast, let's check it there. Nope, not quite domed yet, so we'll give it a bit more. Look at it from the side. And that's domed. All right. Well, definitely don't have to mix up anymore. Which is great. Let me go ahead and get a stick out ready for this lid because, like I said, it's just not looking right to me at all. See that? I may have put just a bit too much in this one, so let's take out just a little bit because it's kind of coming off the side over here. Recenter that stick. All right. Worst case scenario is we just have to clean the bottom off a little bit, you know. So we're going to let that sit there like that for a minute. Go ahead and get this poured. I do feel that it's heating up. Just ever so slightly. I mean, nothing crazy. And we are going to have a whole bunch of extras because this took nowhere near the amount that I thought it was. All right, let me just kind of move this around a little bit on that butterfly. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to mess up my paint. I do see, oh yeah, there's a bubble. Come on out. There you go. Come on. All right, there. Okay, got it. Oh, there's another one, see? There we go, finally popped. See some more coming out of there. And they're really coming out of this butterfly right now. I don't know if you can see them, but there's one here, one there, one there. Okay, one there. I don't want to pop. There we go. Got it right on the tippy top of it. And there's some more coming out. Top here. These little ones just don't want to pop for nothing. What's I got? This one. Okay. That one there. Okay. Let me squeeze that a little bit more. See if anything else comes out. Here's one, let's see it. Two of them. Okay. One here. There's one right over here. There you are. Alright, I don't see any more. Oops, that one didn't pop. There we go. Alright. So now we'll go ahead and pour the rest of our lid. Can't tell if that's a bubble or if it's glitter. Oh, I do see two bubbles just come out of the butterfly. Done? Really? Guess I'm gonna have to watch this one for a while because yeah, we got plenty of extras. That was a little too much because now it's coming off this side. And I hit it, it comes off this side. So this lid is definitely off kilter. Alright. I'll stop messing with that because it's getting on my nervous system. Have to clean up and clean up. Alright, so like I said, we got plenty of extras, so I'm going to do my new favorite mold, the earbud kit case holder. Alright. And if you didn't see the previous video, these molds were purchased from Laura's Art Corner. When you do this one, you don't want to cover this top up because that's where your charging cable will go for your pod case. Let me move these because I don't think y'all will be able to see those with that in the way, and I definitely don't want to move it since I finally got it to set right. All right, still got a little bit more left. What can we pour? What can we pour? No, let me see. Let me see. What if we do my cross mold again? Because this one here that I made, I think it'd be really pretty. And this purple will be similar to this one. If you go as a set as magnets. So let's, oops, give it a spritz. There's a little bit. See something in there. Thought I did. Guess not. And we still have enough, maybe for a pendant. I'm gonna put your hold on hold for a second so I don't have to disturb you with all the noise. So I have two of these plate holder kind of frames. They're very small, and hopefully we'll have enough to do one, maybe two, because they're, like I said, they're not very large. Set that one there just in case. You can always use these for things. Take my dotting tool here, just kind of help it go down through here, because it is starting to get thick. See if we can put the rest of this over here. I know we'll have some cleanup, that's fine. All right, put that in the wash. We are going to clean my hands. Now this little frame mold came in a pack of 2. I got them off Amazon. They were very cheap, very inexpensive. So we will be back for demold. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back. Okay, everyone, we are back ready for demolding, and we'll just start out with all of our extras. So this is one of the little like diamond shape or hexagons, whatever. I just make them up sometimes when I've got enough resin and just kind of use them as, you know, like little handles for jars, whatever, depending upon what I'm making. That's pretty. It's just that chocolate color that we use. The little bit of Diankapours, I believe, in there, mixed in with the leftover that I had. So, yeah, that can be like a little, you know, jar lid or whatever. You know, do like that. There we go. All right, the next thing we're going to do is our little teddy bear. Oh, he's so cute. And I love that little bit of sparkle that's in there. Got a little bit of cleanup to do on him, but not a whole lot. So that's our bear. And I'll do some eyes and stuff to finish him off. There we go. A little bit of cleanup on his ear. Okay, let's do this little flower. This was just I did it in thin layer just because there wasn't a lot, but I figured I could use it for something, either fill in or something. I think I got these sets off of Temu. It's been a while back, and you can see it's just like a little daisy. And I'll probably take a marker and do the middle of it and maybe the leaves. So yeah, so that's our little flower. Next we have our holographic bone tag. You can use as a keychain or whatever you want to do with them. Oh, that turned out really good. One teeny tiny little bubble right up here. I don't know if you can see it or not. But yeah, see, it does the holographic on it. Turned out really pretty. And it got a little bit of cleanup to do on around the edges, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Did come out pretty good. All right, the next thing we have is our little frame. I just did this with the leftover that I had used in the jar. A little bit of cleanup on it. That sparkle is so pretty. That was, like I said, that was this purple extra fine powder glitter. I don't know where it came from. I know somebody gave it to me. I didn't buy it, so that's why I have no idea from where it came from. Now I do have several sizes of these frames, plate holders, whatever you want to call them. This is the smallest one I have, and as you can see, it is pretty small. And you just slide the two pieces in here together when your hands work properly. There we go, just like that. See that sparkle in there? But that turned out really pretty. You can leave it if you wanted. This was the the cross that I made the mold from, which we're getting ready to do another one. But you know, it can be, you can hold that up if you really wanted it to, just as a FYI. But I made that one into a magnet. So yeah, so there's our little frame holder. Little trim right there. But I let it totally harden or cure first before I try to get that off. So like I said, I did make another one of these crosses because I think they're really pretty as magnets. Or I guess you could have it as a keychain if you wanted. Might be a little big. And that is a mold that I made myself. And I have a whole lot of cleanup on this one, which I knew I would just because I made such a mess when I was pouring it. But they do pretty well as far as, you know, trim stuff. But you can see that sparkle in there. I think they'd be really pretty. It matches our little frame holder perfectly. So I will, like I said, I will get out my deburring tool here in a bit and clean them up. Quite a bit of overage on this one, but that's really pretty. Okay, now next one we are going to demold is the star trinket dish. This was ordered for a friend of mine. Now I showed you the blue one in a previous video that I had made for her. And this is the last one, unless she wants more after this one, which it's possible. This last one she wanted in a neutral color, so that's why it is this color, because I guess the person that she's going to be giving this to is not, you know, is kind of a non-fancy person, if you will. I don't want to say, you know, anything that might be considered, you know, derogatory or anything, but she just wanted it kind of plain. So this one's usually pretty easy to get out. Once you get one of the corners out, I just have to put it against me to kind of help my hands. You gotta be careful there. Still a little bendy. Okay, almost there. Let's get this turned back around. Okay. Alright, let's take a look. No bottoms, no bubbles on the bottom. Just a little, very, very mild clean up, which I can get most of that off. Ooh, right underneath my fingernail. Just not gonna need sanding or anything. Pretty good, pretty good. Alright, there it is. Thankfully, no bubbles anywhere to be found. That is perfect. And can y'all see that little bit of glitter in there? Isn't that pretty? Just so it didn't look so plain, but not overpowering either. So I think she's going to like that. Yeah. All right, so that turned out really well. I'm really happy about that. Okay. The next one we are going to do is the earbud case holder. These things would make perfect stocking stuffings or stuffers. So if you want these, let me know. We can put whatever color you want in them. And I think they'd be great. Now I do have some trimming. I already know that on the tops of these. So we're just going to roll this down. And again, this came from Laura's Art Corner. Her link is in my description box, or it will be once I'm finished. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not using gloves, these are not handmade molds. So I'm not too concerned about them. And these are usually pretty easy to get off. I say that, and today I'm struggling. All right. Once you get it rolling, you're, you know, usually pretty good to go. Up one side. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I'm going to need to order me some more of these because I can see me using these a lot. Alright, so there is that piece. And again, this is the hole where your charging cable would go. Sorry, I went way up here. That's where your charging cable would go through to your pod case. This, like I said, this is the holder for those. You can see this just coming right off. Worst case scenario is I'll have to take a nail file just to get that extra little bit off there. Not too bad. And I like that sparkle in there. You know, it's not overpowering. You know, if somebody had a earbud, you know, the case is already decorated, they may just want a little bit of extra something on the outside. Give it that extra little bling. All right, let's get the other side out. That one was easier. Okay. All right, so this is the other side. Again, I knew I had some overage on here, but it'll come off really simple. So I'm not stressed about that. And again, I'll probably have to take a nail file just to kind of finish the edge. So this is the other piece. And they go together just like that. So like I said, these are great stocking stuffers. You know, for your folks that may use the earbuds. So yeah, so there you go. Inexpensive little gifts. And like I said before, if you want to order some of these, just send me an email. That'll be in my description box as well. And we can discuss that, you know, colors and things. Like I said, I think in my last video or my previous one, I am having lower back surgery on December 11th. And so I'm trying to get anything completed prior to then, so I can make sure that it gets out on time. All right, so the piece de resistance, this jar. Now, I feel okay about the jar part of it. What I'm not feeling okay about is, sorry, my eyes itching, is the lid part of it, because I don't know that that thing's going to fit. I will be very surprised if it does, just because it looks misshapen or something. I will have some cleanup done for the lid. I already know that. So let's get it out first. Oh, got a big bubble right there. I went around and around this thing too, trying to avoid that very thing. 2 big bubbles. Because they kept coming out of the butterfly, and then every time I thought it was done, a few more popped out. Spray a little alcohol down in there. Let's see if we can get that to loosen. A little easier. Ooh, there we go. Turn that out. Yeah, so we got a little bit of trim here. And these holes I'll have to fill with some UV. But there, the butterfly itself looks really good. There's the butterfly. And there's a little pattern down here that I figured I could take a paint marker and paint it. See how it looks a little distorted? It's not completely round. And that's the mold. I mean, that's the way the mold is. All right, worst case scenario is able to use the jar and maybe without the lid. I don't know. Okay, let's see how hard this is going to be to get off. It really did surprise me, though, how little resin this took. Because I had made up a whole bunch, so I would get so many extras with this color. And it didn't take nowhere near what I thought it would. Trying to get this to roll down. I wonder if I could heat that lid up and reshape it somewhat if necessary. Alright. Trying to get this back into shape it's supposed to be. There we go. Alright. Well, I like the frosted look of it. No bubbles. Yeah, I think this mold is messed up because see how shiny this all is here? But over here it's not. It's like, I don't know, that's weird. It's all shiny, and then you get this part and it's dull. You don't see that? That's a shame. Yeah, that is so dull. Feels weird too. And it's all up this side. Like I said, this was the first time I poured this mold. I'll take it back apart, and I'm not doing this. So, the question of it is does the lid even come close to working on it? Because I may be able to shine this up, but I don't know. This may just be been a waste of resin. Thankfully, it didn't turn out as much resin as I thought it was going to be with that kind of issue. It's a shame because it's been real pretty. I mean, I guess I could still use it as a holder of some sort here in my craft room. I'll trim that off. All right. Whoops. Just trying to see if this is a little softer than that is, but let me do this. Let me pause it for a minute. I'm going to get me my craft knife out and see if I can trim that some. I'm not going to make her watch me do that. So give me just a second.